Life is like a box of chocolates.
It is. Life is like a box of chocolates. Charlie Hurt. We're just going to start the show now. Outnumbered overtime. Oh, gee, baby. So we talked a lot about the speech.
Yeah. Totally.
And as we were ending the TV version of us, it is chilly in here. I already wore a sweater.
Yeah, you have
now
a
you're
sweater
putting on your long sweater. It's a
one.
thing.
Yeah, I could have worn.
But now the president, as we were wrapping up the TV version of us, was meeting with Senate Republican leadership in the Roosevelt Room, and they were going to give us a little video. I think it was only like 8 seconds that they got video spray of. What do you think is being talked about in this? Yeah, I have the guest list.
She gave.
Okay, there are no Democrats in the room. Well, no. But the Vice President, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, John Cornyn, Senate Majority Whip, Kevin McCarthy, House Majority Leader, Stephen Scalise, House Majority Whip, Cory Gardner, the NRSC Chairman, and Senator Perdue. That's who's in the room.
I mean, just from the very open, that was a unifying speech. I mean, I just remember thinking it was like, okay, this is going to be a game changer right off the start.
Yeah, and really, it was the first time that Trump has ever given the Republicans sort of their homework assignment. And so I imagine that that's a big topic of the conversation is, just, okay, so where do we go from here with the Obamacare stuff? Because, I mean, I can't think of another speech where he has laid out in that much detail what he expects. And he
speaks a lot.
Yeah, and the guy talks a lot. He does.
That's just a fact.
You guys are so mean.
Why is that mean?
Funny. Joking.
It's true. All right, so this is just hitting the Associated Press and Reuters wires. President Trump likely to sign executive order lifting federal coal leasing ban next week.
Yes.
The executive order would also address potentially clean power, because we don't know what's in it, a plan for that, other Obama-era environmental initiatives, that's according to a White House official to Reuters. So a lot of ground being covered. There a delay on the executive order on immigration. What do we think about that?
I think it's just political, that they want the 70% of the American public having an optimistic view of this speech. They want to
ride that wave.
Take that narrative in the media for a few days and use it. It's very politically smart.
Something we didn't see in the campaign, Judge.
Yes.
Because the news cycles were changing so quickly that I would hear you and others be critical of then candidate Donald Trump, that let the wave ride when it's positive. But not always. So you'd see those cycles just change.
I was never critical of the president.
It's one of the things that people love about you.
Yeah,
you say it the way it is.
Here's the thing. I mean, this is so positive. Do not step on this story.
Right.
Do not let anything get in the way of this powerful moment when we recognize the military, we recognize the optimism, the fact that the Dow is up and going crazy, and infrastructure. I mean, come on, give us a minute.
And also, it's an ample opportunity for Democrats to come to the middle and meet him. If they can't take this moment of bipartisanship and reach out for the good of the country and try and come to the table with President Trump, then they really are just the party of hypocrites. And I hate the idea that the era of Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan is long gone. But I think there are some smart Democrats who realize that Donald Trump is still popular with their base. Certain senator from West Virginia in particular that I think probably sees the writing on the wall. But if they don't take this moment,
who was by the way, he was the one guy
he was clapping, standing up.
Yes,
he was like jumping in front of the camera. Look, West Virginia, I'm clapping. I'm on my feet.
Well,
I got to tell you, Facebook Live is hot.
Ooh, tell us how
now.
hot.
And like every other message is, I love the judge. I love the judge on the show.
People really
love
ride
having
hard for you, Judge, and people love you.
So thank you for all those shout outs.
What's wrong with them?
I mean, a lot of people like to let us know where they're coming in from. So North Carolina, Illinois, Terrence Cartwright from North Carolina. I'm sorry, I should give shout outs back. But everybody loved the show, and everybody's talking about the speech last night. I think it's just
great speech.
What are they saying about Judge Jeanine? We love her. She's the greatest
pretty
thing
much
ever.
every other message. And Charlie, that people want more Charlie.
Charlie
on the sofa.
Some really smart things, Charlie. You really did. I was like,
People talk about your hair too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, dreamy hair.
You told me before the show that you have a mullet.
Well, it is kind of a mullet right now. I think it's time. It's not my best mullet.
Here's
I've had
what
a much
I know.
better mullet.
When you walked into the green room, the hairstylist was awfully excited.
Yeah, well, I fell asleep on
They
the train.
love your hair.
And I had a giant cowlick because I fell because I started out in D.C. this morning.
Are there Holsteins on the train?
You did? How'd you get here? Train?
Yes, I took
Plane.
a train.
A lot of people also talking about the
that a
Democrats'
stop train?
reaction during the speech last night.
Yes.
And Joanne
only place they let me
Perea
on.
Chavez is writing
only
in.
car
She
they let
says,
me on.
one of the congressmen who thumbed down President Trump is my congresswoman, Judy Chu, whom I didn't vote for. Shouldn't be thumbing down to anyone. She's the 7th. Okay, well, we won't talk about how much you don't like her, but she says, be a leader first, then criticize others. Sad I'm from California, but love my state.
So,
Anyway.
did you all see Joe Crowley, congressman from New York, last night?
no.
He was wearing a giant pin with it looked like an upside down question mark, and I was like, you don't even know what that protest is
Yeah.
for.
Do you know what it for?
No, I have no idea.
What do you mean? Were the
It was a big
women wearing
question
that
mark.
one as well?
I didn't see anybody. They all were wearing some.
I gotta
blue
Google
pin,
that, 'cause I
but
really don't
But the
know.
question mark just.
I didn't see
was a
what
real
Joe
pu-
Crowley was wearing.
I mean, I'm
It
just
was
going to
real
Google the
puzzler.
picture because I want to see what the picture is.
The white pantsuit thing is really, I mean,
The white pantsuit?
I
Oh,
really,
the women in white.
women in white, yes.
And what you were saying is so true. And then the other thing is, it's so offensive. And then the other thing, like Hillary Clinton is the best woman candidate
I
to
know.
run for president. No, she's not. I can think
She's
of
not
1,000
even
Okay,
women.
but you
about
brought up a
anymore.
good point. They're dressed in white, so they say, for suffrage. You said if they voted for Hillary,
Yeah.
they got to vote for a woman.
Yeah.
Just because she didn't win doesn't mean you didn't get to vote
also-
for her.
and it
So
seems like
then the
it's
question is, did they actually not vote for her?
Historically, women.
They
Right?
disenfranchise themselves, I
Right.
think, maybe.
Historically, the women's suffrage movement was ran by a lot of Republican women. So, like, go back in time and do a little history research.
That is very
number
true.
one. Number two. They need to be intellectually honest and clear with what they are representing. They are representing radical, pro-abortion, Cecil Richards, Planned Parenthood women of the country. They are not representing conservative women. They are not representing pro-life women. And the idea that all women are summed
They
up
know
in
they
one
lost.
blanket.
That's why they're so miserable. You don't have to keep telling them they don't represent us. They lost. Get over
But
it.
I think there's an audacity and an arrogance with certain women. And by the way,
Did someone
my
write in a
generation.
book called The Audacity of Hope?
I think that someone
Yeah.
did. But there is
did.
even women of my generation. I think there's this. Again, audacity is really the only word I can use to describe it, that you somehow represent all women of America. And I think it is not represented enough in the media how strong and intense pro-life, conservative young women are and how strong of a voice we have within our communities. It's just not within the mainstream media. And the idea that you're going to sit here and say that you represent all women when you're trying to get Planned Parenthood extra funding by the government, it's such a load of you-know-what. It drives me absolutely insane.
We're on the internet. We might be able to say what the
What's the
you-know-what
record
is.
of
not
you know
gonna
what
say.
you've said?
I've had to train
What do you
myself
got?
not to swear.
No,
because
somebody
I
wrote
don't
in
wanna-
saying
I don't wanna
career
get fired.
politicians looked absolutely lost after the president's speech. It brings up a good point.
That's not true. Paul Ryan was smiling. That's unfair.
No, the
Paul Ryan was
Democrats.
smiling the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think
is-
other side of the aisle.
that's
Democrats.
deeply unfair, and I'm sorry, but President Trump last night was reaching out within his own party as well, and
So
I
how
think
did
to
the
put a negative
Democrats
spin on
look
that
according
is
to this
The
person
Democrats
on,
ran out because they knew that he hit a home run,
Yeah.
and they didn't know what to say without looking like
I'm
an
curious
idiot.
to know that
Did you
what
see
read.
Elizabeth Warren's face a couple times, the camera on her?
I love it. I love that.
All right, look what Bob found. That's their handle.
what?
You think
A couple
that's
times she was like,
shout
"What did
out
you
from
say?"
Oakland,
Exactly.
Florida.
What did you
Okay.
say?
All right, shout right back to you, babe. Yeah, we're getting some.
What's the weather like in Oakland? They
Joe Manchin needs to change parties from Super Taco.
No, that's unfair. He's just a Scoop Jackson Democrat, and we need more moderates on both sides of the aisle, and he shouldn't be bloodlet out by people like Elizabeth Warren just because he's supporting our president. I hate that.
You know what we do need, though?
I
We
never
need
have
a
an opinion about
viable
anything.
party of opposition.
Yeah, exactly. Make the
Otherwise,
opposition party great
yeah,
again.
you need
Yes.
a viable opposition party because you need people to participate. If you
why
really
are
want
they
to do
mad at
things
him?
like
Here's
change
the truth.
Obamacare, where you
These
need at
people-
least 8 Democratic votes, right?
But they're
So-
mad at him for supporting our president. That's it. They're like, you can't
Oh.
support President Trump. You can't try and reach across the
But they're
aisle.
also mad because they don't have anybody to do the rebuttal other than a former governor from Kentucky who's cute as pie,
Still
Mr.
don't
Brashear.
get it. There
But
had
you're
to
not
be
in office
people
anymore.
who wanted to do
And he
it.
thought he was a Republican.
My friends were texting me, who is that? Who is that man? I was like, I'm not really sure.
And our friends in
because-
Louisiana understand who that.
You know what? Pelosi's worse than Schumer with a camera and getting in front of a camera. Why didn't she give it? Why? I mean, there's a million of them. There's something going on. I'll tell you what it is. Democrats know it's over for them. There's a whole new crew coming in.
There's something going on.
Yeah, something going on. I can feel it in my bones.
All right, 10 seconds left.
I can't handle that pressure. So
No, I got it. Hump Day Sizzle, alive and well on this couch.
yeah, I don't know why John Scott was calling me out about my hump day sizzle. John was like, it can't be sizzling, it's raining behind you. I'm like, baby, I wear that sizzle on the inside.
That sizzle comes
He
from the
did look
heart.
shocked, though. Anyway, Charlie Hurt, I'm glad you were here.
Thank you, Charlie.
People are loving your dress.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I mean, that color is gorgeous. We love it.
I'm selling them now.
Oh, selling your dresses?
I'm selling for like nothing.
Wow.
By the time
All right.
they sell, it's like
if there's a place you can buy the judges' dresses, I'll get that info and bring it to you. But until then, see you tomorrow.
Bye.